So hello there and welcome back to another tutorial. In this one I just wanted to briefly cover how to scatter objects, or in this case specifically Quixel assets in Houdini and render them out using Redshift, and how to properly set that up, since the default export from Quixel is not really useful in my opinion, or not really necessary. So if you have Megascans installed, just click on this button, make sure you are using the Megascan scattering, and apply motion if you want motion later on for your plants. Then you can close this, go back to Megascans, choose the asset you want to export, click export, wait for a bit. And the new thing that makes this possible is I think Redshift enabled or got the ability with Houdini 18 to save large amount of proxies at once, at least in Houdini Indie. So I think in FX that was never really a problem, but with Indie it was. And the copy to point sub got the addition of using variant attributes, so this is really useful. So you really don't need all this stuff. The only thing you need is the object merge with all your objects, and to check. And for debugging purposes, at the start I used an attribute randomize with random colors to see the different objects. So this gives all the objects that are imported a different color. And then I'm gonna drop down a copy to point sub. Just wire this up. And then I'm gonna need an attribute wrangle for points, because the thing I want to do is use or add a variant attribute with so each point here that is scattered on here, as you can see, should have a variant attribute from 0 to 5 in this case. So it should cover the range of objects that are being imported, in this case 5 objects, and that should be randomized, so each point has a random object assigned to them automatically. And there's quite a simple way to do this. So drop down an attribute wrangle and pipe the source objects into the second input. And then I already prepped the code, so this is what you need. And the first thing it does is it creates an integer called object number, and this takes the number of points from input 1. And since the objects that are being merged are already packed in a way, there are 5 points coming through here. So if I middle mouse click on here, there are 5 points. So this gives us the number 5. That's all this does. And here I at variant enables the variant, or initializes the variant attribute as an integer. Then I created a fit 0, 1, and because rand, so the randomize function, creates a random value between 0 and 1. So fit 0, 1 fits values from 0 to 1 to a specific number. And in this case, I wanted to create a random number for each point number. So each point gets assigned a random float value from 0 to 1. This is then being fitted from 0 to the highest number, in this case 5, the object number, which is being created. So if you just use this setup without the attribute randomize, you don't really need that in this case for the color. It's just for debugging purposes, because as you can see, it works. All the objects are being scattered nicely, and we have one object on each point, and that works perfectly. The only thing you need to do now is you have to have this piece attribute enabled and set to variant, or whatever you call your integer attribute. So you could call this something else, but then you would have to call this something else as well, or it should be the same. And then you need to enable pack an instance. And if you go out here and go to your scatter setup, the next thing you have to enable is go to instancing, and enable instance sub-level pack primitives. And that's basically all you have to do. And then you're able to crank these, crank these numbers way up, and it still should be able to render without a problem with Redshift with reasonable render times. So I'm really happy this works now in Houdini Indie, and I just wanted to share this with you guys. Yeah, and thanks for watching, and if you want to support me on Patreon, you can go in the description and do so. And there you can also get access to all my source files from the tutorials that I make. I will be always uploading the scene files there, and if you want access to those, you can just do so. Let's see if this works. Should work. Yeah, it works. That's great. So this renders really, really quickly. It's really, really awesome. Super happy this works now. And I just wanted to share this with you, since also in the last tutorial I didn't really properly cover this, and I wanted to make sure this information is out there. All right. Guess that's all from me. Thanks for watching.